this next question is going to start off with Jack. What are your ideas of returning educational control back to the local level? For example, how would you handle federal educational mandates such as Goals 2000 and No Child Left Behind? This is fun for me, folks. For the last 40 years, the federal one-size-fits-all education system has been a complete failure in this country. It's horrible is the word. And I've been out front on this from the get-go. We have now a situation where there's a whole lot more indoctrination going on than education in our school systems. Very frustrated teachers. We've got very frustrated students. They're not learning. They're getting social promotions. They're getting out of school. They can't read. They can't write. Forget math. They can't even make change. If the cash register didn't tell them what it was, they would never know. I believe in local control of education. The cities and towns should have control of their schools and their curriculum. 2, I believe in vouchers. I believe that the money should follow the students. And if you want to see a big change in our education system, inject competition. It'll work wonders, and it'll work it very quickly. The school is failing, and there's a voucher available for an unhappy parent to send their child to another school, public or private. That school that's failing has 2 ways to go. They shape up, they close down. Either way, we win. Lastly, homeschooling. 25 years ago, I wouldn't be saying what I'm about to say. Homeschooling, I'm a big proponent of it. Every homeschool student that I have met has been superlative. Absolutely superlative. Not every parent can homeschool, but those that can should not have barriers put ahead of them and in front of them to stop them from doing it. We owe our kids the best education possible. And those are the 3 ways that I feel we can accomplish that. Thank you, Jack. John, same question?
I am not a big believer in federal control anyways. And Goals 2000 and any type of federal mandate would be looked upon very seriously by me as governor as a very strong concern. I am a strong believer in local control. When my grandfather was a town road agent in Candia, I used to remember how they fought over every single dime that was in that budget. You all know what I'm talking about here. Education is very important. But you know, we're going to go back to the donor town issues, despite the fact that some of you think they're gone away, and that Governor Lynch said he would campaign against donor towns. The statute is going to come back and put them back in place. We're going to lose the collar, and there's going to be all kinds of problems in the next budget year if we don't fix this problem once and for all. We need a constitutional amendment. We need, again, a governor that's going to lead. We need to get that question onto the ballot to restore local control. I do believe in choice in education. I believe strongly that if families have choice, if we have competition, you know, there are school districts around the country where individual investors are coming into school districts that are failing and are buying certain areas of the school district, turning them around in a private business model and making it work and competing with the public school system and making the public school system begin to thrive. We need to bring public competition. But also charter schools is another area. The Seacoast Charter School in Exeter, I went to visit them a few weeks ago. $5,500 a year per pupil cost. In the Exeter School District, per pupil cost is $11,000. They're in the same area. Those students are learning so much, and they're doing arts, and they're doing programs, and they're growing, and the teachers are there, and they're committed. And that's what we need in our education system. A lot of competition, accountability, but local control, so that you in Dover and you in Rochester can work together to decide what your school system should look like for those children. Not to have continued mandates that just continue to jump costs beyond our control.
Thank you, John. Karen?
Well, one of the first things I did when I came to New Hampshire in 1993 was work with a group of people where we laid the Goals 2000 side by side with the Communist Manifesto, and we worked tirelessly to make sure that New Hampshire was the first and only state in the Union to turn down Goals 2000. Second of all, Remember I said we needed to go back to the government and we need to find out what was the original intent? Well, the State Department of Education actually started in 1917. And that's when we added it. The State Board of Education was established to receive federal funds and to disperse them. In 2004, we have, let me back up. The State Department of Education wants to oversee the proper running of our schools. Okay? In 2004, according to No Child Left Behind, we had 14 districts that were in need of improvement. Today, in 2009, the final things came out. We have, I believe it's 38 districts that are in need of improvement. It says to me that 28% of our budget is going to the Department of Education. It also says to me that they are not doing their job. If they're not doing their job, perhaps we need to eliminate them and allow the local districts to take over education like they used to do prior to 1917. Additionally, I homeschooled. I sent my children to private school. I sent my children to public school. It depends upon the child. It is up to the parent to make that final decision. I believe that what we've got is we've got a government that is in the way of parents being able to exercise their constitutional right to oversee the education of their children. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Frank? I have to agree. They've said everything that's right. I would sit down with NEA and say, come here, let's talk. I want to know why in my community, on a school day, the staff and teachers have a day off and send the students home and they're getting paid for it. I'm confused. The other thing, one of my fellow representatives, not from my district or this district, told me about 3 teachers making $64,000 a year in his area, and they teach 7 to 8 students in kindergarten. That's a little crazy. Yeah, I've been union, I've been anti-union, but it's about doing the right thing when you're in office, and you got to be able to sit down, you got to talk. You got to say, hey, sit down. Let's get this right for the people in the state of New Hampshire. You heard the word leadership? Absolutely correct. It's not happening. We get too many state reps and senators for a lousy sandwich will sell you down the toilet. Trust me. The representatives here all know that. We need to get this going right and proper. I spent some time in New Mexico. The education system was decent. I spent some time in Germany, in the United States Army, volunteered for Vietnam. They did me a favor, sent me to Germany. And I learned that the students there go to what we would consider 8th grade, learn Deutsch or German, American English, and I believe it's Spanish. In 8th grade, and they go on to college. There's something wrong. As a governor, can I change that? Absolutely not. But I can pick up the phone or at the Council of Governors and say, look, we need to get this up on the federal level and stop the, I won't say the word, but we have to do that, and I would. And if I'm elected, you will see me not smiling like smiley face, but I'll smile when we get things done. And I know here in your own community, they want every student to have free food. What are we talking about here? Thanks, Frank.